On Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, in Salt Lake City, Utah, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris said during the vice presidential debate, quote, "I will repeat, and the American people know that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact," unquote. While Harris insists that we don't need to worry about Joe Biden banning fracking, maybe we should be more worried about him not banning it. According to the United States Geological Survey, fracking is a process that involves injecting water, sand, and other chemicals into bedrock formations at high frequencies. This process allows us to extract the oil and natural gas trapped below the surface. While fracking has significantly benefited the economy, it has also shown to be detrimental to both the environment and our health. That is why today I will be focusing on two specific impacts of fracking, including how it is polluting our groundwater and significantly increasing methane emissions. I will also discuss different alternatives to fracking that will be better for both the economy and our planet. Fracking has significantly benefited the economy over the years. However, these benefits have come at a cost. An assessment done by the United States Environmental Protection Agency has found that fracking can severely impact drinking water sources and has contaminated groundwater all across the country. Researchers from Stanford University published data demonstrating how fracking is negatively impacting wells in Pavilion, Wyoming. In 2008, the citizens of Pavilion began to complain of an odd taste and smell in their drinking water. Samples of the drinking water were taken and tested, revealing that fracking chemicals were present in the water. One of the researchers suggested that more groundwater sources should be tested, given that the high frequency of the fluids injected into the ground made it very possible that this was not the only source that had been contaminated. This example is just one of many of fracking chemicals polluting groundwater all across the country. Increased methane emissions are another issue with fracking. The Earth is getting warmer and warmer each year, and increased methane emissions are a big driver of that. New research has shown that fracking has greatly increased methane emissions, as methane emissions began to drastically increase around the same time that fracking took off in the United States. Methane increases the temperature of the Earth over 80 times more than the other well-known greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide. While climate change may not seem like a pressing issue for some, its effects are far-reaching and devastating. According to climate.nasa.gov, ice caps and glaciers around the globe are melting, causing sea levels to rise. Some areas are receiving increased precipitation, while others are stuck in a perpetual drought. Weather events such as hurricanes are becoming more severe and devastating, and wildfires are ravaging the planet. If we do not significantly decrease our natural gas emissions fast, soon the effects of climate change will be irreversible. That is why it is necessary for the planet that we begin a shift to more renewable sources of energy. Now that I've discussed some of the consequences of fracking, you may be wondering what we can do to help stop the far-reaching and devastating effects of fracking around the globe. There are both alternatives to fracking and different methods of fracking that are eco-friendlier and more sustainable. A new study done by the Chinese Academy of Science has found that using atmospheric carbon dioxide as a fracturing fluid rather than water allows us to store more carbon dioxide in the ground, thus decreasing its abundance in the atmosphere. According to Alternative Energy magazine, solar and wind energy are two zero-emission alternatives to fracking. Hydropower is another alternative. Although it does produce some emissions, it is still much cleaner than burning fossil fuels. Another concern for many people about zero-emission alternatives is their cost. However, recent advances in energy technology have brought down the cost of these sources of energy, allowing them to be more competitive with fossil fuels. In addition to having zero emissions, these sources are also renewable. Fossil fuels are non-renewable and running out fast. That is why it is both more cost-effective and better for the planet to begin a shift to more renewable sources of energy. Fracking is more harmful to the planet than it is helpful. These effects that I've discussed today are just a few examples of the consequences that fracking is having on our planet. If we are able to significantly reduce or even eradicate fracking, we would be well on our way to cleaner air and drinking water. We would also be able to significantly decrease our greenhouse gas emissions, which will in turn curb the effects of climate change. If we are able to make the transition to more renewable sources of energy, we will be able to keep ourselves and our beautiful planet healthy for many years to come.